Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Berry, and today we are going to be watching I simulated Megalodon, not the VTuber, in the modern ocean. Chaos followed, maybe the VTuber. Let's check it out!
The year is today, somewhere off the coast of Baja, California. A baby shark is born into an ocean that has not seen its kind for 3.5 million years. This isn't good news for anyone, because this particular baby is already 2 meters long, weighs about 150
Is it gonna leave its Legos all over the floor to piss me off?
50 pounds, and belongs to the largest predatory shark that has ever lived. Within 20 years, it will need to consume the caloric equivalent of a killer whale just to survive 1 month, which
I mean, sometimes I be doing that. I get off stream and I'm like, DoorDash, that, pizza rolls.
raises an interesting question about the modern ocean's ability to carry this organism. But that is a concern for later though, because right now you have more immediate problems, like the fact that you're a baby Megalodon and everything wants to eat you. You were born on a Tuesday in a shallow bay off the coast of Baja, California. And the first thing you notice is that your mother is nowhere to be found.
What, is she getting like the baby shark cigarettes and the baby shark milk and the doo-doo-doo?
She hates you. You're an orphan now, which is completely normal because just like my dad, sharks don't do parenting, and honestly, that's probably for the best given what you're about to become.
Dude, having parents when you're an animal sucks. Like, turtles got it so rough. It's like a 1v1v1v1 scenario off the rip.
You're already 2 meters long, which is roughly the size of a full-grown human, and you weigh about 150 pounds. So you didn't exactly have a gentle entry into the world. The water here is warm, hovering around 24 degrees Celsius, and while that might sound impressive, it's actually warmer than it should be for this latitude. So thanks, climate change. This is the one and only time that you're going to be benefiting from
Anytime I see this, I think of the Street Fighter guy. What's his name, Brian? I don't know. This smiley face I feel like belongs to Brian.
Human activity. Back when your species was thriving about 3.5 million years ago, nurseries were scattered around places like Panama, the Canary Islands, and what's now Maryland. All of them
They have like blue crabs, not like the gross kind of crabs, but like the crabs that you eat. They're pretty delicious. I remember whenever we used to get them when I was a kid, we would have a day where we put them all out on the table and we would scoop all the poo-poo out of them and then we would eat them.
Shallow bays with warm water and tons of food. And this bay off Baja fits that description pretty well, except for one critical difference, which is that the Miocene Ocean was consistently warm across huge areas, whereas now you're in a thin strip of acceptable water surrounded by temperatures that would slow you down to the point where you would mostly be useless. But you don't know that yet because you're about 6 minutes old and your main concern is the fact that you're extremely hungry.
Do you think that when baby animals, like aquatic animals, are born, they miss their mommy and they miss their daddy, or they just like have no idea what's going on and they do not give a f? I always want to understand their viewpoint, I guess. No? Because like fish don't have love? Hey guys, did you know that in terms of male human and female Pokemon breeding,
which is a problem that you're gonna have for the rest of your life, so you might as well get used to it now. Your first meal is a grouper that weighs about 30 pounds, and you eat it in 2 bites, which feels efficient until you realize that you're still hungry because your metabolism is designed for an ocean that no longer exists. So you spend the next few hours cruising the shallows looking—
Wait! So if we were a baby Megalodon in the ocean, we're playing Feeding Frenzy all the time. That game was freaking awesome. And I loved playing it with my dad.
For anything big enough to be worth the effort. Eventually you find a 4-foot shark. It's some kind of reef shark that was minding its own business until you showed up. And you eat it whole because you can, and because in evolutionary terms, eating a shark on your first day is what professionals call a power move.
Eating whole grains isn't that bad. I mean, that's probably pretty healthy.
Other sharks in the area get the message pretty quickly and start avoiding you. Smart on their part, but also means you're running out of easy targets faster than you would like. On day 3, you spot something new. There's a pod of black and white shapes moving through deeper water just outside the bay.
Please don't be a human. I cannot catch a case. They are gonna try to lock me up for years.
Your genetics tell you that these are probably food because they're big and they're mammals. But your genetics are about 3 million years out of date, so they don't tell you that these particular mammals are orcas, and that orcas very much did not exist the last time a megalodon was.
Oh, so I don't know the new meta yet. Oh no, they're gonna go crazy. They're gonna dragon punch me and I will never get up. Oh, hell no!
Around. What your genetics also don't mention is that orcas hunt young sharks specifically for the liver, which.
Ew! Why they hunt young sharks? They bring in the cupcakes to the function?
They consider in their culture a delicacy, and at your current size, you are not a predator to them. You're on the menu. One of them peels off from the pod and starts heading your way. This is the moment where you learn a valuable lesson about the modern ocean, which is that intelligence beats size when you're alone and bite-sized. The orca is about 7 meters long, which means it's bigger than you, and it's moving with the kind of confidence that suggests it's done this countless times before. So you do the only logical thing and retreat into the murky shallows where the bottom is too close for comfort and the water is too cloudy for them to hunt effectively. The orca stops at the edge of the shallows, makes a few clicks that you can feel in your entire body, and then leaves. Here's the thing about—
At least he left. I mean, it is interesting that some animals think things aren't worth the effort. Like for me, probably walking outside. I'd rather just stay home.
about being a juvenile megalodon in the modern ocean. Back in the Miocene, your biggest threat was other megalodons, specifically adults who wouldn't hesitate to eat you if they were hungry enough, which is just standard shark behavior, and at least had the decency to be straightforward. Now your biggest threat is a highly intelligent social mammal that hunts in coordinated packs, has cultural knowledge passed down through generations, has apparently decided that shark liver is worth the effort. This is a new threat. You spend the next 5 years in and around that bay, growing about a meter per year, which sounds fast until you realize you need to get to 15 meters before you are really safe from anything. And
dude, 15 meters is way bigger than average. Like, I mean, I probably take one. Then I can reach the top shelf and I don't gotta worry about
5 meters per year, it means you've got a decade of being nervous every single time you leave the shallows. And your diet expands to grow. Sea lions when you can catch them, small dolphins if they're stupid enough to wander close, and large—
Wait, dolphins are really smart though, right? Like, don't they like play games and like do drugs?
tuna that—
Wait a second. They sound like they would really like Friday Night Magic.
You actually have to chase, which is annoying because your body is designed for short ambush bursts, not extended pursuits. The problem you keep running into is that the modern ocean has about 70% less large prey than the Miocene ocean did, which is a nice way of saying the buffet your DNA expects simply isn't there. That restaurant has been closed for a long time. If you've been
just like Arby's! I miss your curly fries. You've only been gone a week, but damn.
Born 3 million years ago, this bay would have been surrounded by small baleen whales, the 5 to 10 meter variety that were slow, plentiful, and full of enough blubber to keep you full for weeks.
Isn't it so sad that like I see an animal like this and I'm like, don't eat him just because he's fluffy and cute, but I'll see a swordfish and I just like it up. I don't care. You're just like a stupid fish.
Now you've got sea lions, which are fine, but they're not whales. And the occasional dolphin, which again is fine, but not whales. And a lot of fish that you're frankly too big to be bothering with, but you eat them anyway because the alternative is starving. You are burning through more energy than your ancestors did just trying to find enough food to maintain your growth rate. And you're starting to understand why your species went extinct.
Doesn't he just look ripped though? Like his skin's definitely ripped up because he be fighting, but like he could bench something crazy, like at least 350 a flipper. Damn!
Which is a weird thing to understand when you're a 5-year-old shark, but here we are. At 5 meters long, you're too big for the bay now. You keep scraping your belly on the sand, and the prey that is still there has learned to avoid you. And there's a pod of orcas that's been hanging around the entrance for the past week, like they're waiting for you to make a mistake. So you make a decision, which is that you're going to leave and head into the open ocean. Because staying here means slowly starving, and leaving means possibly getting killed by orcas. But at least the second option has—
Are there any animals that kill orcas? Or are they just like always the top? Like, is there something bigger than Shamu? Humans? Oh, that's sad. Oh, well, I guess guess humans are meta. They did get patched in.
Better odds. So you wait until night when the orcas are less active and you slip out of the bay into water that's deeper and colder than anything you've experienced. The first thing you notice is that the ocean is emptier than it should be. Your genetics are telling you that there should be whales everywhere, but there aren't. And that is going to be quite a big problem. 2 years go by and the open ocean teaches you things your genetics didn't prepare you for, which is basically everything because evolution doesn't account for the entire planet cooling down and most of your food going extinct. You're 10 meters long now, which—
Wait, so how did the Megalodon get gone? Yeah, wait, how did he turn into the Megalodon? I mean, if he's so big and so strong and had no predators, like, what was it? Oh, it's just the food? That's it? Only starvation? Well, like, I'm not saying I would want to eat girl dinner every day, but, like, you could probably eat a bunch of peanuts. Like, there's nothing he could have ate? No more big prey. Maybe water temperature changing? There's got to be something he could eat, like a charcuterie board. That's going to get some minus twos, but that's pretty good.
Which is big enough that most things leave you alone, and the ones that don't are either confused or want to end their own lives.
Oh, that was you guys after you heard me say that.
There's still this nagging problem where you need to eat roughly 98,000 calories a day. The ocean keeps failing to provide them. So when you spot a gray whale mother and her calf migrating north along the coast, you don't—
Oh no. Now we're gonna start spawn camping.
don't hesitate, because this is what you were built for, and also because you haven't eaten anything substantial in 3 weeks. The calf is 8 meters long, which sounds big until you remember that you're 10 meters and equipped with jaws that can bite through a car. The mother is 15 meters, which sounds like a problem until you remember that you're not trying to fight the mother. You're trying to eat her baby before she notices. How sweet of you. So you come up from below, which is standard ambush protocol, and you get one clean bite into the calf's flank, tearing out roughly 200 pounds of meat and blubber in a single go.
Damn!
And the blood in the water is immediate. The calf tries to swim, which is pretty optimistic of it considering it just lost a chunk of its body the size of a refrigerator, and the mother starts ramming you, which is understandable, but also ineffective because you've already backed off and you're just waiting now. It takes about 40 minutes for the calf to die from blood loss. During that time, the mother stays with it, making sounds that you can feel in your teeth.
Make me really sad. Baby calf gone way too soon. Can we get some F's in the chat?
This is the part where you'd feel something if you were capable of feeling things.
Oh, you're right. I'm a VTuber. Don't give a fuck.
But you were a shark, so instead you just wait for her to leave, and then you feed for the next 6 hours. One whale calf equals roughly 60 days of calories, which means you can coast for 2 months on this single kill. And that's the most efficient math you've encountered since leaving the bay. It is a strong strategy. 3 months later, you run into your first great white shark, and the interaction lasts about 8 seconds, which is how long it takes for the great white to see you, process that you're twice
live great white reaction. Oh, hell no. Wait.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Bye.
its length, and then leave the area completely. This is interesting for a couple reasons. The first being that great white sharks basically didn't exist when your species was around. The second being that they might have evolved specifically to fill the gap that you left when you went extinct.
Oh, so they're like the worst version of the Megalodon? We gonna show him. We're gonna show him we are the leveled up big ass version of his dumb ass.
Which means
we're
in a weird
smurfing.
way, this great white is only here because your species died out. Now you're back, so that's kind of awkward. The great white was hunting seals near an island, and now you're hunting seals near an island. And the great white is somewhere else entirely, probably having an identity crisis. You eat 6 seals in 2 days, which barely
Well, I mean, I guess I'll give you my seal of approval.
moves the needle on your calorie requirements, but at least it's something. And you start to notice a pattern, which is that wherever you go, other predators leave. Orcas change their routes, sharks abandon hunting groups. You're reshaping the behavior of every large animal in your range.
Do I smell? Am I ugly?
just by existing, which would be impressive if it also wasn't evidence that the ecosystem has no idea what to do with you. You do not belong in
It's just because I liked anime before it was cool.
this lost world. So you start moving north, following the whale migration routes, because whales migrate and you need to eat whales. So the math is simple. But the whales are heading into the Bering Sea, which is cold, too cold, and your body starts slowing down around 12 degrees Celsius.
Okay, this is a dumb question. Do fish hibernate? Like, if it gets really, really cold, is there anywhere they can go to just kind of like wait it out? Or do they only like migrate and go to where it's like more warmer? Not really? Yes? Is that even possible? I don't know, because I feel like if the water gets way too cold, they just kind of have to like fuck off. Lungfish do, some of them do. Freshwater fish can hibernate. I just like learning stuff, and you guys are smart. And you're like my Google. I don't even have to do anything. Hello? Oh, there we go. I was so dumb, my eyeballs broke.
So you stop at around 40 degrees north latitude and just wait for them to come back south. This is a problem your ancestors never had. Because back in the Miocene, the ocean was warm everywhere, and whales didn't have polar refugees where they could hide from you. Now they do. They feed all summer in water that you can't tolerate and then migrate back through your range for maybe 6 weeks out of the year, and that's your window. The rest of the year, you're hunting whatever you can find, which today happens to be a pod of sperm whales.
What? Whales? I'd say so. I'm not touching them things.
And this goes badly for everyone involved.
Yeah!
You target one of the calves, because of course you do, and the females immediately form a circle around it with their tails facing out, which is a defensive formation that apparently whales invented sometime in the last 3 million years. You try to get through because you're hungry, and that calf is your food.
Dude, whales are so square. They look like bloxors.
And one of the females hits you with her tail. It's not enough to seriously hurt you, but it's enough to make you reconsider whether this meal is worth getting hit by multiple whales who clearly know what they're doing. So you leave. This will be an important decision. Here's what's becoming clear. You're hunting 3 to 4 times more often than your ancestors did.
Yeah, I mean, I would have said 6 or 7 more times.
Traveling twice as far to find prey, and you're burning through energy.
And then don't even look at the housing prices, man. They had it so much easier back in the Jurassic period.
Like you're trying to heat a house with the windows open. Back in the Miocene, a shark your size could eat 1 medium whale every 2 months and be fine, because the ocean was warm and whales were everywhere, and you didn't have to chase them into polar water to find them. Now you're eating 1 whale every 2 months, plus seals, plus large fish, plus whatever else you can catch, and you're still operating at an energy deficit most weeks.
How am I still in balanced power mode when I'm trying to go to high performance?
The ocean your DNA expects is gone. What's here instead is colder, emptier, and has whales that are either too big to kill safely or smart enough to defend themselves in ways that make you rethink your life choices. You're surviving barely in an environment that has moved on without you. Your species went extinct because of this exact problem, and you are starting to see why. But you don't go extinct, at least not yet. And 15 years later, you're 17 meters long and weigh somewhere around 50 tons, which makes you the largest predatory shark in the ocean by a distance so large that it's almost unfair to other sharks. Except fairness isn't really part of the way ocean does its business.
Yeah, life ain't fair, baby. Get big or get eaten. Or if you're big, I mean, I guess you can still get eaten. I don't know, you can eat anything once.
At this size, nothing can kill you except maybe a coordinated pod of extremely motivated orcas. And even then, they would have to catch you in the right mood, which is to say distracted or injured. Because on a good day, you could bite one of them in half and the others would get the message pretty quickly. So you'd be patrolling the same route.
I keep seeing this mother sucker in Twitter replies. I cannot take him seriously.
Route for the past decade, which runs from Baja up to Northern California and back down, then sometimes across to Hawaii depending on when the humpback whales are breeding. And this route
I mean, it's in the name. They probably doing that shit 24/7.
Is now essentially yours because every other large predator has learned to be somewhere else when you show up. The great white sharks that used to hunt seals off the coast have moved their operations further north into colder water where you won't follow them. And the orcas that used to own these hunting grounds now avoid you entirely after you killed 2 of them in separate incidents over the years.
Guys, come on. It was just a prank, bro. Like, can't we be cool?
They learn. That's the thing about intelligent prey. They remember. The
Oh.
whale populations are changing too. Specifically, the mothers have started taking different migration routes to avoid areas where you've been spotted, which is a reasonable response to a 50-ton shark that's been eating their kids for 15 years. But it's also making your job harder because now you have to hunt over an even wider area to find them.
How do we bring them back in? Like, what do whales like? We just give them, like, free samples of krill until we krill them?
Now eaten 47 gray whale calves since you reached adulthood, which sounds excessive until you remember that you need to eat roughly 1 large animal per month to maintain your weight, and 47 calves over 15 years is actually below that average.
Dude, am I not just like a big chunky loser? I have no friends, no bitches, no parents, constantly eating. Where is my win?
Which means you've been supplementing with a lot of smaller prey that
Yeah, I'm a megalochud.
barely registers on your calorie needs. Here's where it gets interesting from an ecosystem perspective though. The northern Pacific gray whale population is about 20,000 individuals, and you've personally killed 47 of their calves, which is 0.23% of the population. And while that doesn't sound like much, consider that you're one shark and you're measurably impacting a species' breeding success. Back when your kind was thriving, there were probably dozens of megalodons in the Pacific alone, and there were way more whales to compensate. So the system balanced out. Now there's one of you and fewer whales, and you're taking a slice that the population can technically afford to lose, but just barely. And humans have noticed, which was inevitable because humans notice everything.
Yeah, this can't be real. We would have already like either just like shot him with something and eated him up, or he would have been in SeaWorld doing backflips.
And then make it everyone else's problem. Satellite tags on whales keep disappearing, and when whale carcasses wash up on beaches, they have these massive bites sticking out of them that don't match any known predator. And shipping vessels have reported seeing something extremely large near the surface that's definitely not a whale because it's got a dorsal fin and it's moving wrong. Scientists are confused, which is understandable. Governments are concerned, which is less understandable because governments are usually concerned about the wrong things. And someone somewhere is probably already suggested killing you for the public safety, which is rich considering humans spent the last century hunting whales down to 10% of their original numbers, and now they're worried about one big shark. The question everyone's asking is, what do you do with a 50-ton shark that
Well, I would have said, what do you do with the drunken whaler? That's my first question. Now let's move on to the 50-ton shark.
eats endangered species? Do you protect it because it's the last of its kind? Do you kill it because it's eating things we've decided are important? Or do you try to track it and study it and hope it doesn't eat anyone's boat? Well,
I love this guy's videos.
Or do you try
He has used the confused monkey at least 40 times, and every time it makes me smile.
to track it and study it and hope it doesn't eat anyone's boat? Well, you don't care about any of this because you're a shark and you have no concept of human laws or conservation ethics. You just know that you're hungry and there's food in the ocean, and sometimes that food has a satellite tag on it. Your hunting strategy has evolved, which is a nice way of saying you've gotten more desperate and opportunistic as you've aged. You scavenge now, which you didn't do much as a younger shark, and you've learned that fishing vessels dump a lot of dead fish overboard. So you follow them sometimes and eat the bycatch, which is not dignified, but hey, it's free calories.
That's
You've
smart.
also figured out that certain oceanic islands
This part made me so mad. Dude, I'm about to piss off at least 3 Breaking Bad fans, but when this happened, I went, really? I literally hated it. It didn't make any sense. It just, to me, I thought he would be way more, like, safe than this.
Have whale populations that congregate nearby at specific times of year. So you time your migrations around that. And you've gotten very good at ambushing whales near the surface where they're breathing because that's when they're the most vulnerable. Last month, you even killed a blue whale calf, which was the biggest prey item you've ever successfully taken. And blue whale calves are born at 7 meters long and weigh about 2 to 3 tons.
Yeah.
So this is significant. The mother was 25 meters and there was nothing you could do about her. She's too big, too fast, and too aware.
Wait, he was getting arrogant and desperate. Are megalodons the Walter Whites of the ocean?
And if you tried to fight an adult blue whale, you would probably win eventually, but you'd also probably get seriously injured in the process. And an injured megalodon is a dead megalodon because you can't hunt effectively with broken bones. So you waited until the calf was separated during a deep dive, you came up from below, and you got one bite that was enough. The mother came back and found her calf dying and stayed with it until the end. And then she left, and then you fed for 8 hours straight.
My League of Legends teammates be like.
Here is the thing about blue whales though. They didn't get this big until after your species went extinct, probably because you weren't around to eat them anymore, which means the whales got bigger specifically because you were gone. And now you're back and the whales are too big for you to hunt safely except for the calves. There's almost something funny about that if you ignore how depressing it is. You are now 25 years old and you've probably got another 20 or 30 years left.
Holy doomer. What happens if I'm 28?
And you've killed hundreds of large animals in that time, and you've survived in an ocean that wasn't designed for you and has no real way to support you long term except through sheer stubbornness on your part. Can one megalodon actually survive in the modern ocean? Yes, apparently. Can you thrive? Not really. The ocean's too cold, the prey's too scarce, and you burn more energy finding food than your ancestors ever had to.
Nah, just give him like 4 crumble cookies. That's at least 20,000 calories. He'll be fine.
You can't reproduce because you're alone. And even if you could, there's not enough food to support a population of sharks your size. So you keep swimming, you keep hunting, and keep existing in a lost world that moved on without you 3 million years ago. You're the last megalodon again. Just like your species was at the end, except this time there is no population to sustain you. You're just one shark doing laps between whale migration routes while slowly running out of options.
It's gotta be so boring to be an animal. I think about that sometimes when I'm watching TV or playing on my phone and I'm watching my puppy and I'm like, damn, like, they kind of just gotta run in circles, eat, sleep. They can't play on the iPad.
The modern ocean can support one megalodon.
Yeah, they got no
barely,
games.
but only if that megalodon is willing to work 3 times as hard as its ancestors did and accept that it's never going to be anything more than a ghost in an ecosystem that has already forgotten it. That's it. That's the answer. Can a megalodon survive in our current ocean? Yes. But there is a huge catch. If you enjoyed watching this,
I mean, that would be a huge catch. Damn, what is this? Holy shit!
video, make sure to give it a like and comment down below what other dinosaurs you'd like to see in a modern environment. Please also subscribe to the channel, hit the post notification button so you don't miss out on any of our future uploads, and follow us on TikTok and Instagram so you don't miss out on any of our future content there.
Yay!
And if you want to watch another one of our videos, you can click the one that's on your screen right now.
Yay! Well, thank you so much for watching. I super appreciate it. If you're new here, please subscribe and please check out the original I Love His Dinosaur videos. They are very good. And come by the Twitch stream, twitch.tv/BerryCrepe. Or if you would like to use code Berry for 10% off your gamer subs order, it super helps me out and I would super appreciate it. I hope you have a great evening. Goodbye, YouTube! Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye!